2020, and this video is called "And in the End, Will We All Just Suffocate?" Now, I've always wondered about this question about the available oxygen in our atmosphere, and since we can't see it, we just go take it for granted, like this is what's up there. And they're saying that the Earth's atmosphere is made up of approximately 78% nitrogen with 21% oxygen. And what's left, which is basically 1%, are just all the other gases. Now, what I find interesting is that a human being must breathe oxygen to survive and to begin to suffer adverse health effects when the oxygen level of their breathing air drops below 19.5% oxygen. Below 19.5% oxygen, air is considered oxygen deficient. At concentrations of 16 to 19.5, workers engage in any form of exertion can rapidly become symptomatic as their tissues fail to obtain the oxygen necessary to function properly. Okay, and we won't go with any of these other concentrations because you start getting this tachycardia, accelerated heartbeats, increased breathing rates. So this is what I'm coming across, is that the average human exhales 2.5, close to 2.3 pounds of carbon dioxide on an average day. So we'll just say that's 2 pounds, just for discussion. Now, in this article where it's saying, why isn't carbon dioxide from breathing a concern for global warming? They state that, how is it then that we don't worry about the massive amounts of carbon dioxide that are released with every breath taken by the billions and billions of people and animals that inhabit the world? Because every atom of carbon and the exhaled carbon dioxide comes from food that was recently produced by carbon dioxide. Everything that we eat, save for a few inorganic compounds like salt, was in some way produced by photosynthesis. This is obvious when we eat plant products such as grains, fruits, and vegetables, but of course, it's also the case for meat. The animals that we eat were raised on plant products. Indeed, a growing animal is basically a machine that converts plants into flesh. So since all carbon dioxide we exhale originated in carbon dioxide captured by plants during photosynthesis, we are not disturbing the carbon dioxide content of the atmosphere by breathing. Okay, the population is close to 8 billion people. So if you take the 8 billion people times that 2 pounds, you're going to get 16 billion times 365. This is what is coming out carbon dioxide in a year. Now this is 5.83 E plus 12. That's a huge number. So what I'm trying to get at is, if you look at, now this is our oxygen, global oxygen levels since 1991. And if you look, it goes up and down, up and down. And I think that has to do with the photosynthesis of the trees and the seasons. But if you look at this, this is a downward spiral. This is just, it keeps going down. And right now, we are at the average of 19.5%. Actually, right now we're at an average of 21% is what it was saying. And if you get to 19.5 is when you start having problems. So the population of the world is exploding. So I think we got some problems with global warming and the Rona, but I think one of the biggest issues that no one's even looking at is the available oxygen for us human and all life to exist. And it's going down. We're at that very fine line where the whole planet is just gonna not be able to breathe anymore. Like, I don't know if some mathematician could do the numbers. If you follow this down, this is only going to come up to here in 2020. And if you follow the math, it's not going to take too long where we're not going to have enough oxygen in this atmosphere for anything to live. So it might be a little depressing, but I think someone's got. If this is true, we are really in for some hurt. We're not going to make it another 100 years, because this has basically been from 1991. This is only 30 years worth of oxygen. So if you do another 30, you're definitely going to be below the level. So I don't know. What do you think? Am I thinking the right way on this, or there's something off here? Piece of the puzzle, this phytoplankton. Now, plankton is one of the top producers of oxygen. It produces 50 to 80% of the oxygen on the planet. Now, if you look at, there has been a massive decline in phytoplankton since the 60s. And if you look at how it almost is kind of like the same as the total oxygen levels. If the majority and main producer of oxygen is declining, that would correlate with oxygen loss also. Now, phytoplankton is really cool. There's all these species of these weird little creatures that are microscopic. Now, I don't want to say it, but you know it. And this Fukushima mess has probably got a really good correlation to, it's not responsible for the downturn from the 60s on, but if you look at the phytoplankton, it's all radioactive now. A large majority of it is radioactive. So if you're picking up what I'm putting down, between trees, the decline of trees, and the loss of phytoplankton, I'll bet those are the two main contributors to why our oxygen levels are dropping. And remember, which I was taught in school, that plants and trees, and also what's in the oceans, they're all indicators of the environment. So just remember, they're trying to tell us something. And unless we could figure out their language, we're never going to figure out what's happening. But something definitely is happening. We are definitely using more oxygen than is being produced.